All right, welcome out everybody to another episode of Windshield Time at Mountainland Supply. I'm Joey. I'm here with Brandon, our CEO, as always, with Spencer Shorts, the man of sorts.
Oh, yep. There we go.
Some kind of sorts.
That's the last you'll hear from him. And today we're joined by Peter. What's your middle name?
Reed.
Peter
R-E-I-D.
Reed
Andy Reed.
Shumway.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll claim him, but he doesn't know me. So, but same spelling.
So Peter Reed
Is it
Shumway.
E-I-D.
E-I-D. Okay.
Scottish. It's Scottish. I'm very Scottish.
Not E-E-D.
Really?
All right.
E-E-D.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
I haven't yet. No. Haven't
Dude.
been to Europe.
So-
I've been Dubai. I've
Do you,
skipped right over Europe, though. I need to get there.
do you want to know? I mean, this is just a not so well-known fact about Scotland. I have been there, but my wife actually owns a plot of land in Scotland. So
Oh,
she's a
nice.
lady
Let's go build a
by
home.
title.
Let's build a little VRBO.
It would be a mini home because it's a 1 foot by 1 foot square plot,
Interesting.
so that she can just say she owns land there. And so then she gets the title of lady, which means by marriage, I'm a lord. So we're
Let's
talking
go.
Lord Joseph.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Let's just rewind this for a minute. Remember back, like, what was it, 2 years ago on Facebook, there was like these advertisements that become a lord or a lady. And really what it
Buy
was,
your own star
it's
constellation.
a scam.
That's what it is.
And it's a guy back in New Jersey that just prints off these certificates and sends them to you. That's what it is. So
But
She met him on the Brooklyn Bridge. And
no, I did it,
offered
dude.
40
I
bucks
did it
for a
for
plot
like
of
a
land.
Christmas present.
Oh.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, there's very few things in life that will surprise you.
Hey,
You know?
this is a good segue into what we're talking about. You gave a little story about Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
You deserve nice things.
I totally agree. Well,
That's
as a
our-
lord, I really agree.
Yeah.
So
showrooms.
There's nothing much that surprises anybody anymore. So I surprised her with a plot of land, and it comes with like it came in a frame. I mean, this is a legit deal,
Lord Joey.
and with some it's in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, which is a part of Scotland I didn't go to when I visited there, because it's like clear up on like the Panhandle area, so I didn't go up there, but. It has some GPS coordinates. One day I really do need to go check
You've
it out.
never
and
been
see.
there yet.
No, because I don't want to be disappointed, because I guarantee it doesn't exist.
is it some dude in New Jersey in a warehouse?
I mean, I knew going into it that I was probably getting scammed, but it was like $80. I'm like, you know what? Just for the story, it's worth it. I mean, I've told the story how many times?
Too many.
Yeah, I mean, so it's great. It's worth it. It's worth the $80.
What are we doing in Spanish Fork? Let's get some plans going for.
Dude, I will
What
take
city
you.
is it? What's it called?
Aberdeenshire.
Aberdeenshire.
So it's up north of.
They got good schools. Kids can.
No, it's like farmland.
Oh.
Like if you Google it, it's farmland. So it could legitimately have a plot of land. You never know.
Well, tell my family hello. The Reeds.
Oh, I'll let them know next time I'm out there. It's a big deal when I fly in. You know,
Yeah.
they throw out the red for me when I'm up there.
Did you make him say Lord and Lady while you were there?
I think I told it to the guy like the first night. So we flew into Inverness, which is the very, very top of Scotland. And I think I told the waiter the first night we went to eat at this restaurant.
And this is Tawny just rolling her eyes like,
No,
oh,
she
here we
was
go.
into it at that point. I mean, yes, she rolls her eyes constantly, but I was trying to just strike up conversation with the waiter. So I'm like, hey, I mean, we actually own land here. And he's like, oh, where are you on land? You know, you can't understand what he's saying because he's speaking, you know, Scottish English. And I told him that we own land in Aberdeenshire. He's like, oh, yeah, I've been over there a few times, you know. So, I mean, it was worth a conversation there, too. And it kind of impressed him. I didn't tell him how big the land was, though.
That is a football field.
I mean, he didn't ask. I left the details out because he didn't ask.
So from then on, did he start calling you Lord Little?
No, I kind of told him. I told him if he wanted to, he could. I was like, you know, I don't get embarrassed if you call me that in public or anything, so you can do it if you want.
Your wife should have stepped up and said, I'm the landowner here.
She does often.
Yeah.
She's like,
Okay.
no, actually, I'm a lady.
Stand correct.
And I decide whether you get to be called a lord or not. So by marriage, I sometimes get to be called lord. I got to get my own. That's what I need to do.
Wow, that was
a
great
heck of a
segue.
That was awesome.
I think that's been one of the best ones so far, Pete. So just for
Glad
you.
I could help.
Yeah.
That's a long way of saying that, hey, Pete is our marketing manager for all of our showrooms, which means that Pete is in charge of like franchising the look, being our vendor liaison, making sure we have all current styles in the showrooms. You arrange trainings. you do all that stuff, right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, we're putting together a new one in Orem right now that we're excited about.
And for how long have you been working on that project?
It's been a minute. Yeah. It's been a few weeks.
What was that? What'd that place look like before you got going on it?
You know, I could see the potential of it, but it was a warehouse and grease on the floors, but it had good bones.
Yeah.
Like a lot of remodels that we experience with people coming in. But yeah, it's turned out awesome. It had kind of water and drains strategically where we felt like we could use it, and there's some fun things in there now. Very interactive. Wellness is a big word out there now. When people are building homes, you see wellness rooms, and so we've kind of developed a little wellness area there with the cold plunge and the saunas and aromatherapy and chromotherapy. So a lot of those things are kind of, when you come in, you'll see the wellness aspect of it, which is big right now.
Yeah. So there's the showroom is in Orem. It's a little bit east of the main compound. It's directly north of the heating store in Orem in a strip mall. And now you can recognize it because we have these huge like banner skins that are on the garage doors, right?
Yeah.
So we have two adjacent units there. The one to the west is the one that's the actual showroom. The other one is used for storage currently. The one that is the showroom was used for storage for a long time. Before that, it was some guy had a Class A motorhome in there, and that's why the floor drains are in there, because he would wash it off and it would just drain on the floor. So there's been a lot of work to get it to where it's at today. And if it doesn't win showroom of the year, like, I'm going to flip my lid, because it's honestly beautiful. I mean, those who haven't seen it, it's incredible when you walk in there and you're like, wow, look what this place turned into.
Yeah. And you know, and you mentioned it when we first started getting the ball rolling, is we build around relationships. And that was kind of the approach. Is we have such an unbelievable team there already, and throughout the showrooms, I think we have the best team ever at Mountainland.
Yeah, agreed.
But build around relationships. It's cool to have a place, and they're in there now full time, and people are coming in and out. But just to see that we've built something that kind of matches them now, and their clientele, and they're still getting new ones every day, is like, okay, wow, we're a builder up in Park City, and we've used X&X wholesaler, and we're all on board. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know,
So
we have the building and the setup that matches the person that we want to work with. So it's fun to see that momentum build.
So you've got, who are you targeting? Like, you've got a homeowner that will go through a plumber. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's one target. You mentioned a home builder. You're also targeting designers, right? So
yeah, so designers lead a lot of it. Obviously, we're plumber focused. So, I mean, that's our bread and butter, and but we do have a lot of contractors and designers that come in underneath that plumber. So we're target. You know, we're still a plumber's showroom with the designer focus on this one, and so yeah, all three of them we're focusing on. So
I love that.
So going back, like, you know, you looked at this warehouse. It's almost like a blank canvas, right? Mm. Where does, you know, the plans come from, or the design process of, hey, we're going to have this here and we're going to have this here? Like, how does that all come about, and who decides that, and things of that nature, and who, you know, like, what vendors, material are you going to be putting in there and showing off and stuff like that?
We're part of a buying group under iMark, Luxury Products Group, and they do a phenomenal job giving us resources and inspiration of what kind of goes into a showroom. Now, I mean, I've been in the bathtub industry, and I'm not really a showroom designer, but seeing other showrooms, getting inspiration from them, and then being part of this buying group, there are great resources through them that kind of play into what different things. A little reception area, so you walk in, there's going to be a couple of chairs. It was really cool, because I've been envisioning this for quite a while, and on Friday I saw a husband sitting in a chair that I've been envisioning a husband sitting there for a year.
I remember you talking about this.
And I took a picture of it and I put it on social media. The other one was an older man sitting on a toilet. It was actually my stepdad. But I kind of just played off saying, hey, we have plenty of areas for you to sit while your wife browses our showroom. And it's so cool to see that kind of come to pass. And that's exactly, the husband's there. They were very interactive, but they get to a point where they're like, okay, I'm done looking at the different finishes. I'll let my wife take that time, and the husband can sit back, grab a Diet Coke out of the fridge and sit there and flip on his phone.
Yeah.
And that's super cool for me and gratifying. But, to answer your question, as far as the design and all that, it's fun to kind of envision this and then to see it come to pass. We literally had one sink on the wall, and I ask our guys, first thing is like, what can we do in this area without where we can pick up maybe if we need to one day and leave no trace behind type thing. When I think we've done that. We didn't do a lot of digging through the floor and running drains. We lifted a floor up a little bit and kind of made it more of a platform look. So with one little sink in the wall, we ended up putting in 3 showers and probably 9 shower heads, 3 working tubs. I mean, quite a bit of action going on in that area with one faucet and drain, which again is a huge credit to our construction team that they were able to put all that together.
So this design up here, as we walk through, this is your vision. This is what, hey, we're going to put this here. We're going to put this here. We're going to do this. That's you. You're the mastermind behind all this.
Yeah.
You get inspiration from other places,
sure.
but
yeah,
I'm trying to give you credit for this. Okay. Just graciously take it. But
yes,
this is your baby that you've been working for the past.
Yeah. And it's turned out really good. And again, we meet with the girls here that are in the showroom. They're very invested in this as well. We meet with them every week as well to
Melanie,
get ideas.
And you got Breezy and Cody, and they're giving ideas, and then you bring those all together.
And I'm telling you, they as far as what faucets and what sinks and all that, that's not me. This is where the faucets and sinks are going.
Yeah.
But you guys, what sinks are you? And they know. They can whip it.
Well,
up
and they
in
know
5
exactly
minutes.
what will, because the way that showroom works is they have an item and then they sell off that item, right?
Yeah.
So they'll have a vignette of a certain sink that is really kind of a designer sink. But not everybody's going to buy that sink, but it's close enough to other things that they can say, well, look at this. This is what it will look like in shape, but a finish will look like this. And they have swatches of finishes. But the people who work up there, those women who work there are very, very good. They've been in the industry for probably
I say 80
I don't
years
wanna, I don't want to
combined,
age.
but I don't want to say
I don't want
that.
to age them either. So yeah, over 80 years combined in the industry, and they are the best of the best.
They're really good at what they're doing, but the main thing is when you walk in there, it's inspiration.
Yeah.
Seeing the variety of product that we have available. You're not just stuck with one brand that your plumber's saying, hey, go pick out this. We love that. We want to try to stick, but there's other options. Let us show you some of these other varieties and quality that there is, but it's inspiration. Coming in and seeing that $25,000 glowing tub. Are they going to walk out with that? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's the inspiration. It gets them excited. And okay, we're going to get stuff done today. We're going to get some decisions made. And these 3 girls are, and again throughout the showrooms, they'll get it done. And so that's kind of my job, is to walk in, give them inspiration. Okay, we're going to get stuff done today. And
so that's awesome. I think for the windshield wipers out there, that's what we call the employees that are listening, both of them.
You should know that because you listen, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So the windshield wipers out there, some of them who work in a branch that holds a showroom in it, a Kaysville, a West Jordan, 33rd South, Salt Lake, Richfield, they may have a question like, why a showroom? Why do we tie up this space when we could be putting inventory there, it could be putting desks there? So what's the value of having a showroom in those stores?
Well, it's definitely helpful for the plumber to have an advocate, a resource to send their homeowners and their designers, because again, it's very designer driven now in this industry, and they are looking, millennials and maybe even the next generation. We think, well, gosh, they'll just shop online. They do come into the showroom very informed. They've done a lot of research online, but they still need that arm around their shoulder,
feel it,
and say, hey, okay, you've narrowed it down to these 3 options.
Yep.
Let me help and guide you which of these 3 options would be best, because they do come in a lot more informed. It's not like they're just coming in blindsided, but it is nice to have that showroom, but it's the personnel more than anything. I mean,
it's a relationship.
To sit down and say, hey, let me show you this toilet, but let's go over to the computer and let me guide you through it. So it's creating that environment where our professionals can guide them through and make them, let them make the final decision.
I love that.
By the way, a side story. I don't think I told Joey this, but my daughter is quasi dating this kid, right? And so I met his mother just a few weeks ago.
That's a dad's
she's dating. I know you don't want to admit
she's
that
not dating yet.
Yeah, you don't want to admit that she's dating. But so there's this boy, and I was his mom came over, and it was prom, and they were taking pictures and everything like that. And so I was just making some small chat or chit chatting with her, and she mentioned one of our showroom attendants, and I'm not going to name him because it was phenomenal. I mean, and she just complimented her like so much, and she's like, yeah, we work with her and she's phenomenal, because come to find out she's actually in the construction business. And they use us quite a bit, and I had no clue that there was even that connection. But the first thing that she mentioned was the showroom and how awesome it was, and the people inside the showroom and how helpful they are. So I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I didn't even know. I mean, and it happens so much. I know that when we're out and about and you start talking to, neighbors, friends, family, stuff like that. And it's not even that we say, hey, go to the showroom and go talk to them. They just end up going there. And then afterwards they come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, your showroom is phenomenal. And
that was such a good experience.
Yeah, they're so helpful and they're so knowledgeable. And they told me to do this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. I'm like, thank you. And it makes you feel good that, hey, we're part of this organization, that we have some phenomenal people that they take care of people so well over there.
Yeah. Well, we had, you called me Peter at the beginning, but we had Peter from LPG come out, and I don't know where he's from. Do you know where?
I think he's back.
He might be somewhere. We'll say Scotland. We'll say Aberdeen, whatever.
Aberdeenshire.
Yeah. And he had been here for 3 days, and he just says, gosh, there's just something different. And it's kind of cool to be, what is it about Mountainland? And I'm not just a plug for this Windshield episode, but I was like, well, there's 3 things actually. And, I threw and it was fun to be able to, and that, I mean, from my heart, I mean, it literally was, that's kind of why it's different. Again, we can build these grandiose showrooms, but it's the relationships. It's that they care. They're invested. They're employee owned. They know that we're out in the community, investing in the community. And it's pretty cool to explain that to somebody that's been all around the country and dealt with stores like us and be like, man, something's a little different here. Every time there was a red carpet, I could smell cookies up in Far West. I mean, it's pretty cool to have someone from the outside that's with us, but on the outside and hadn't been out here before and could sense it. And we hope that our homeowners, our plumbers, our designers, and I know they do, but when they come in, they feel that too. And like, man, something's a little different here about these guys.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, I think it's personnel.
It is.
If you think about
create the environment.
If you talk about all the faucets, the toilets, the tubs, whatever, anybody can replicate that.
They can all do that.
They can all put them in a showroom or in an area and do that, but it's the people. And I think that's the difference. That's the secret sauce that you guys have up there.
And one thing I'll throw out too is building this and doing showrooms is you quickly see which vendors too, and they're part of the family as well. And I feel like when they come in, they feel like their family, and it's fun to kind of go through this process and see which vendors are really playing ball, and they're overnight you things like, dude, I forgot this little escutcheon for this shower head. It's in the mail already.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's cool.
Man, I mean, they're part of the team as much as our showroom clientele. That's actually one of the funnest parts of my job is dealing with the vendors. I mean, we're close with them, and we have a brand here that he's like, Pete, we do this in L.A., New York, and San Francisco, and now Orem, Utah. How did we pull that off? And they have invested a lot of money and resources and product because of that exact thing is the feeling and the potential that they see with our our personnel.
Yeah. What's been kind of fun is going up there and seeing those same vendors putting together displays, down there. Because, I mean, and Pete was a little bit, not upset, but kind of, we spring this on anybody who comes on as a guest. We spring it on them within, a couple hours at the most. And so Pete, he's been up at the showroom getting dirty, and he threw on a jacket to cover his dirty shirt. But it's fun, and so this isn't how Pete always dresses, but it's been fun to see those vendors who normally dress in business attire when they come in and visit us. They're up there in jeans and a T-shirt putting together displays, or they're on the floor trying to get a toilet to fit together.
Yeah,
so that's been kind of fun to see this labor of love of the whole industry in Utah come together. And you're right, it really is like that is our entire family's work, from the showroom attendants, like I said earlier, Melanie, Breezy, Cody, all the showroom attendants, to our vendors. Yeah. Everybody's labor of love is that showroom. And I think that's why it feels so awesome.
And I think it was Shawnee that said it too, is like, we all like each other. We go to KBiz and
they don't fight.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the
hasn't
vibe
always been that way.
She was saying is that they get along. I mean, there's different personalities and there's different directions that sometimes they want to go, but overall, I mean, the group really has a good rapport, and that shows when customers come in, they can feel that. It's not just I'm clocking in and clocking
out.
It's
a team effort.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I drive by and I see somebody. It's not 5 o'clock. They're getting stuff done.
Yeah,
and
it's not an 8 to 5 deal.
Yeah,
I would say that Joey kind of alluded to it. It hasn't always been like this.
No, not at all.
And I mean, this is now the skeletons in the closet that we're talking about, but we've struggled in the past with some of the showrooms.
Yeah.
And just getting the right people in the right seat.
It's all people.
It really is. And having, good vision of where we're going to go with this, because me being the finance guy in the past, it's just like, okay, you want how much money to do what? And tell me what's my ROI. And it's really hard to sometimes prove that out. And so we've invested a lot in the past into showrooms that honestly we haven't had a lot of success with. And I think it comes back to, you look back at that and you're trying, okay, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
What do we do different? And I think in the past it's personnel makes the biggest difference.
Oh, it's huge.
And right now, the team that you have, I mean, they're phenomenal.
We couldn't ask for better.
Yeah.
And I love that build around relationships. They're there. Let's build a showroom that matches that.
Yeah. It's so Pete came on board with us when we still had a showroom on State Street in Orem. So it was completely off-site. It was hard to get a homeowner or a plumber up there, see a design, and then they can't walk away with it. We just had a lot of different issues that we thought would be able to overcome up there that we were just never able to overcome. So when we shut that down and refocused it on the plumber first, Pete was on board with that, and not everybody would have been, but he was full on behind our vision to change that back to, hey, the plumber brought us to the dance. We are a plumbing showroom.
Well, and let's be totally transparent there. Even after that shut down, there was discussions of, we're done with showrooms.
Right.
We're not going to do this anymore. Because I don't think we had a really, I mean, we brought you in right at the last minute there, but I didn't feel like we had a really good visionary of someone to take us and say, okay, here's the vision. This is what we're going to do. And I think, when we regrouped on that, and
Peter Pete in. Yeah.
And having your vision on that, I think that's what has taken us to this level where we've had success.
Yep.
Where before it was kind of, if you would go through all the different showrooms too, they would be hodgepodge.
Yeah.
They'd be all different.
Wouldn't be uniform.
Exactly. And that was the other hard thing too, is you'd have a showroom that would be doing okay over here and this one would be failing. And that was just really hard too, to see that and say, okay, well, why invest more money into this when we haven't figured out our process, our secret sauce? And so, with you coming in and helping and getting the right people too, there were some changes in personnel on that team too.
Yeah.
I think everything coming together. Now we have a really good product out there and a really good service.
And the very best in the industry.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anybody who's better than who we have as attendants in the
and
showrooms.
People come to our showrooms just because of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because of them. Plumbers will follow.
It's all the relationship.
Them,
yep.
Which is I mean, not mind-boggling, because after you get to know them, you're like, I see why.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I get why you do
They
it.
make the problems go away.
But you know, in business, just a business, you're like, you're going to spend how much money because of that one person?
Yeah.
And then so you kind of just, wow. But then you get to know the people and you're like, yeah, I can see that. Yep. So.
And it's nice being across the street here too, because I mean, just all the people that it's nice that buzz over and help out with a forklift, or
You don't feel like you're on an island.
I mean, up on State Street, it was a minute up there, and so you want to buy 3 toilets? Well, now, okay, they're at will call right now, right across the
I don't
street.
really want to go pick them up.
So yeah, I love this location, and again, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, every location is not perfect. We're still working on personnel things, but again, we got to find that right relationship and that right person to fit that mold. And so,
you know, looking back on it, you know, you could say that decision to go up there was a bad decision. Sure, it was a bad decision, but I'm glad we made that decision.
Well, because we'll never do it again.
Exactly. We have learned so much from that one decision.
Yeah.
That we know going forward, hey, there's certain things that we need to do and certain things that we won't do.
Yeah, it realigned us.
It did.
Yep.
It did. So it's like it was one of our best worst decisions.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Totally.
So.
All right. Well, Pete, thanks for coming in.
Thank
I know
you.
we're running a little long
I'll
on
go
time.
get my
I could
grubby
honestly,
sweatshirt back
yeah,
on.
I could talk to you for a long time, but thanks for covering out a few minutes for us today.
Yeah, it's fun working with you on a couple of your personal projects too. So
Yeah.
come in and check us out. We got some saunas, we got some plunges. Hey, and this is open too. The plunges, it's a nice, cool 40 degrees right now. So
You guys
dip
are
your
in.
toes in it.
You never helped me.
Appliances.
Oh, that's right. You did. Oh, you know what?
Personally delivered them to your home.
That is true. Okay. Shout out to Pete.
Wow.
best, dude.
Wow.
I guess I dealt with your wife more on that one. But
Pete's the
That
best.
is true. That is
You
true.
were out of town.
You did deal with my
Sauna Sam and Pete. Yeah.
Sauna
Dude,
Sam, yeah.
dude, that
guys
I've
are
totally spaced that, and that was you came through clutch on that one, man.
I can't remember what happened, but I'm sure I did.
Dude,
Sure
we had it. So we'll wrap this up, but we moved into a house and the oven went out.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
and
that.
come to find out that I'll leave it to. Let's just say the oven went out, and I'm just like, man, that's weird. And then Pete hooked me up, and really, you know, you were working with Chris Lee on that one, and you guys are going back and forth, but we were having a hard time finding the exact one that she wanted. She knew what she wanted, but it wasn't in stock because we were having all those issues with shortages and stuff like that. But you came in clutch. Like, you were making phone call after phone call after phone call, and you figured it out. You found it. I mean, it took us a few weeks, but man, we were able to get it. And then I forgot you did deliver it to my house.
Yeah, man.
You didn't install it though, which I was a little disappointed.
You were doing it that weekend. I just wanted, you know, you need still your manly
yeah.
You got
card
to
there. So
you got to stamp that card.
I did install that, by the way.
Again,
Totally proud.
And when you're working with the, I mean, I'm not scared of power, but when you're working,
220.
it makes your butt pucker just a little bit right there, so that you're gonna shock yourself. But you did come in clutch on that one, man.
good. Glad
And I
could
put
help.
in an ice maker too. By the way, the Pebble ice maker from Cafe.
Make sure you clean that thing because we're running. Yeah, you
No.
got to babysit those a little bit. Don't just turn it on and let it go. So
It's not a set it and forget
Chris
it.
Lee, you can know when it needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
It starts whining a little bit, but anyways, that
I'll
is phenomenal.
pitch the Sonic ice now too. We're doing Scotsman, so
Yeah.
Really?
we're helping Joey.
That's
with
what's
that
going
one.
in my
Yeah.
house as a Scotsman.
That's the true Sonic ice.
Wow. Now I feel left out.
They can
No,
probably
you
hook
never
you
know.
up.
We'll figure it out.
They can
We'll
probably
figure it
hook you
out.
up. Right on.
Okay,
Thanks
you,
again,
gentlemen.
brother.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks,
All right.
Pete.
you.
Thanks, everybody out there, for spending a little bit of windshield time with us, and we'll catch you down the road.
Have a good one, everyone.
See you guys.